Vani and vapu. The Vani gives way to the vapu. In other words, the vapu is a manifestation of the Vani. First comes the Vani, then comes the vapu. Right? So, when we hear Śrīla Prabhupada speak, that's his Vani. Right? And those that exemplify that, they become the vapu. So the same with Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja. Right? His Vani, right? It was Śrīla Prabhupada's Vani that led us to Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja. For us, for those who had connection with Śrīla Prabhupada. And connection with Śrīla Prabhupada is also in his Vani, in his books, in his lectures. So that's why Śrīla Prabhupada exemplified, meaning he stressed the distribution of the Vani. Because by taking in that Vani, right, sincerely hearing it, discussing it, then vapu manifests. The external manifestation of Guru manifests. Right? When you get caught up with the vapu without the Vani, then you got the form without the substance.
Yep.
So this is what Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja was speaking about. Form and substance. Right? So we make too much of the form and we reduce the substance. Everything is with the substance. And then the form will automatically manifest accordingly. And how that form manifests, there's no hard and fast rule for it. Like Guru Maharaj gave the example, Bhaktivinoda, he manifested through one person. And I failed to recognize him. And he started weeping. Saraswati Thakura started to weep because Bhaktivinoda Thakura had manifested through this person and he failed to recognize him at that time. But he recognized later, but at that moment he failed to recognize him. So divinity is flowing everywhere. Are we receptive to it? So to that degree that we have taken sincerely the Vani of our gurus, right? To that degree we will feel divinity flowing in so many different ways. Krishna is everywhere. Even all these seemingly adverse situations. Nothing goes on without Krishna's will. So those adverse situations are meant to increase our dedicating spirit. What did we come for? What did we come for? Right? Don't think that we're not going to be met with those adverse situations. We are, to test our sincerity. The Krishna will never give us a test that we cannot pass through if we're sincere. So again, the Vani. So some of the contributions, the unique contributions that Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja made in relation, just like, for example, Gayatri. What Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja extolled out of the Gayatri mantra. Savatūr. Everyone, if you ask, majority of people, what is Savatūr? They will say the sun. The Guru Maharaj said, no, it means the soul. Because without the soul, you can't see the sun. Right? The sun can be there, but if the soul is not there, what is it? It doesn't mean anything. So just at one point, that's the beginning. Right? The beginning is the presence of the soul. Srila Prabhupada said, you're not this body. Well, who are you? Without the soul being there, what is the body? He's nothing. So again, we connect. You see, this is the Vani, and the complementary aspect of Srila Prabhupada and Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja. And Srila Prabhupada directed us to Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja, and Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja expanded, but don't forget Srila Prabhupada. You can't separate me from him. Vani. Because the source of their Vani is Saraswati Thakura. The line is there, but you were saying the disciplic line is there. Evam parampara praptam, that disciplic line, it has a particular flavor, a particular DNA. That DNA, that is within us. That has been given to us in the Hare Krishna mantra. Initiation means, but that's Vani. So there's a particular mood, a particular sentiment that is coming down through this. And it's not about buildings and it's not about institutions. It's about a soul-to-soul contact.
The more persons you come in touch with who increase your faith in your gurus, who increase your faith in
Agyatu Sukriti, Sukriti, Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha. Right? So we come in contact with these things due to our past Sukriti. Guru Maharaj said that. We come in contact with such personalities due to our Sukriti. Right? And how do we increase that? How do we increase our Shraddha? Right? By trying to sincerely engage in their service. And when they're pleased with our service, then they bless, because they're representative of her, Srimati Radharani. She is the Guru of Gurus. So everything is going to her. And they're directing us to her. When Srila Prabhupada in that lecture, and I don't know how many people picked up on that, when Prabhupada said, we are all coming from Srimati Radharani. We are coming from her. So just think about, meditate on that point, that one point. That means that Prabhupada is directing all of his Vani is going to her. It's coming from her to him. He put Krishna in between. But Guru Maharaj said, when there's a competition, the question was asked by Badris, the competition between Krishna and Radharani, who wins? And Srila Prabhupada chuckled. He laughed and he said, in our opinion, Radharani, she wins. Right? So, but the way he expressed it was so sweet. So in the Gayatri also, Krishna is a sweet, lovable boy, beautiful boy. A sweet, lovable, beautiful boy. Right? And who comes before Krishna? Srimati Radharani. Guru Maharaj extracted that out. He brought that out. Right? So the Gayatri Mantra is meant to invoke us in that direction. Right? So he said, maybe Jiva Goswami said like this. Right? But I have not been able to find it anywhere. But that inspiration came to me. Right? So she inspired him in that way to bring this out, because he's directing us, he's clarifying it, he's making it like this. We're going this way, we're going in this way, right? And we see that those who took the association of Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja's Vani in also with Srila Prabhupada's Vani, right? So many misconceptions were eradicated very easily. The misconceptions that are still prominent today amongst many. And that's the purpose of distributing his Vani, to alleviate those misconceptions. Not that Prabhupada created those misconceptions. They were not able to extract out of Srila Prabhupada's Vani those misconceptions. They weren't able to understand that Srila Prabhupada was counteracting those misconceptions in his shiksha. But Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja brought that to the forefront. In the dynamic principle of Guru Tattva, so many tattvas are there became to the forefront because of Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja. Right? So that combination is inseparable. It's inseparable. Right? And people may take those concepts from these lectures that are out there on the internet, but if they're not doing any practical service, they're just trying to extract the knowledge, right? Extract it. The realizations will not come because they're not rendering seva. They're not giving credit to the source of those realizations, as Srila Prabhupada did.
You can hear the same, somebody reading from Prabhupada's Bhagavatam, for example, one person will be reading it with full enthusiasm, energy, feeling, and another person will be reading the same words, and it'll be totally uninspiring.
Just like AI. You can have the AI read the Bhagavatam, recite the Bhagavatam. I was telling that yesterday to this lady. I said, the name of Krishna, you can hear it everywhere. Well, what is the difference from the name of Krishna that's coming via the pure agent? There's a particular conception within that sound vibration. Like the Ganga, it looks like water, right? If you take a pot of Ganga water and you take a pot of ordinary water from someplace and you put them side by side, they'll look the same. They can look very much the same. What's the difference between the two? The taste and the effect. So when one approaches, one may have the agyata sukriti to bathe in the Ganga, not knowing the benefit of it. Right? And from that agyata sukriti, then some type of realization may amount via a person who is a sadhu, a realized sadhu, about what is the purpose, what is Ganga, right? And then when that same person, due to that agyata, then it becomes sukriti, right? And that sukriti builds faith. And from that faith comes proper association. And from that proper association comes service, and from service comes the elimination of the misconceptions. So, according to our sukriti, according to what we got stored in our bank account, we get the association. We get the association of a sadhu. So we had good fortune. That we came in contact with Srila Prabhupada in this lifetime. And from that good fortune, he directed us towards Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja. And then from the combination of these two, we can understand what is real gold and what is not, by making comparison. So it's like milk, right? Real milk, right? From cows that are being treated with love and devotion. And they're giving their milk to the deity for his satisfaction. Those cows are not ordinary cows. There are so many cows, but the cow, Guru Maharaj made that specific delineation. The cow is serving the deity and giving her milk to the deity, right? Those cows are special cows. Right? So we have to treat them specially because of that. We treat all cows nicely, but where there's gradation, more gradation. Right? So always that, we're seeing that. And that's the intensity of our devotion. Right? Like we want to be in that, just like when you meditate on the Gomukh, that flow, that constant flow. We want to be immersed in that flow, right? It's like a ghee lamp, right? Our devotion is could be like just drops of ghee, or it can be like a flow of ghee that gives a huge flame, like what Akbar saw from the Govindji temple. Right? What is that light? Right? From Govindji. Oh, that's from the Govindji temple. Right? So how much ghee was necessary? How much flow of ghee was coming, to enable that light to illuminate to such a distance. So when that flow is happening, right, then illumination is also taking place. But it comes with sacrifice. Sacrifice. We must be willing to sacrifice, because love means sacrifice. And that is being taught to us by the Lord of sacrifice, the goddess of sacrifice, Srimati Radharani. Her sacrifice is par none. And that's why only Krishna wholesale can be caught by her. So that's Mahaprabhu is trying to understand that. And that is the great fortune that we have. That's what our acharyas are giving us. Just like we were discussing the other night about the mantrams, all the mantrams that we've received, they were not changed. Those mantrams that Bhaktivinoda Thakura gave that came down, those came from Vipin Goswami. All the mantras are the same in that line. That's the line of Janavi Devi. Right? Mantras weren't changed. So some people are saying Saraswati Thakur changed them, and they're not bona fide.
Invented some mantras.
Invented
some new mantras.
Correct. He didn't. So Giri Maharaj brought that out. He brought that point out. Important point. Important point. So this Rag Marg, this is coming down. Right? Don't change. Don't change that. Those are things, and we are seeing what has happened because of the change. Now all the confusion. Change means confusion. You create confusion in the mind. Right? You hear people who are changing things, stay away from them, because they'll create confusion, especially in the younger section. Right? This boy Srimad Bhagavatam, who later became Taraka Brahma, would ask Guru Maharaj that question. We are hearing so many differences of opinion from so-called acharyas in the institution about our guru, and now we're becoming confused about it, right? So don't allow yourself to come in contact with those who will create confusion within you. We have a solid line. Narasingha Maharaj was fighting to maintain that line. Right? One of the few of our contemporaries who maintained that to the very end. And not minimizing Srila Prabhupada's role in his life. Put Prabhupada's shoes on my head in that time of departure. Proving his loyalty. So these are very important points. Those who have given us, who have helped us on the path, we should not diminish them in any way, shape, or form. What to speak of a personality like Srila Prabhupada. And this is where persons who have Kamala Shraddha become bewildered or confused. So we need to hear the Vani, to hear attentively. Pray, and when you chant, chant with all sincerity. The greatest mantra given to us, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Don't minimize the effect of chanting. These are foundation. Guru Maharaj said, go to the foundation. Saraswati Thakura at the Sangam of Radharani said, go to the foundation. The foundation. Make a strong foundation. Water the root of the tree, so then all the fruits will come automatically. Right? Don't minimize the importance of these things. When you're talking about the 16 rounds, if we vow to the Guru to chant 16 rounds, we must chant 16 rounds. That's our pledge to him. Right? That's our pledge to him. Minimum, Prabhupada said. He said, it's nothing. It's nothing. So the point being is that yes, we know that certain personalities didn't chant, like we saw in some of Prabhupada's in their associate, but they were always engaged in seva, which is the point. But if you're not on that platform, don't try and imitate such persons, because you will fall down. The mind will take you to the hellish regions. Right? So do what is, oil your own machine. Make sure that your machine is running nicely. You're feeling encouraged in your service. When you're not feeling encouraged in your service, question, what is it? Why am I not feeling encouraged? Why am I not feeling enthusiastic? Why I'm not up, ready to serve, right, Why is it not continuous flow 24 hours? That's what we're aiming for, 24-hour seva. No sleep. Krishnadas Babaji didn't sleep. Srila Prabhupada hardly slept. So what was it within them that we saw? Guru Maharaj, he rested, he didn't sleep. He just rested the body. He didn't sleep. And if he was sleeping, he was fully absorbed. His consciousness fully absorbed. We saw that. He didn't need a bath to wake up. Jai. Jai Vishnupad Paramananda Parivraja Kacharya Satara Sadashi Śrīmādis Divine Grace Śrīla Bhakti Gaurava Narasingha Mahārāja ki. Jai Nitililom Vishnupad Paramananda Parivraja Kacharya Satara Sadashi Śrīmādis Divine Grace Śrīla A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada ki. Jai Nitililom Vishnupad Paramananda Parivraja Kacharya Satara Sadashi Śrīmādis His Divine Grace Śrīla Bhakti Rakok Śrīla Siddhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada ki. Jai Nitalilom Vishnupad Paramananda Parivraja Kacharya Satara Sadashi Śrīmādis His Divine Grace Śrīla Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj ki. Jai Nitalilom Vishnupad Paramananda Parivraja Kacharya Satara Sadashi Śrīmādis His Divine Grace Śrīla Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada ki. Jai Shri Guru Varga ki Jai Gaurava. Hari Bol.